So you're in Baton Rouge, you're not in New York right now?
No, I'm not in New York. Like when I said I was
Okay.
going, like leaving for New Year's Eve, I guess
Oh
you took that
shoot,
as
because
like
I
New
thought I
York.
thought New York. This is a weird thing, and I was like, why'd you put an E at the end of it? No, that's me being an idiot. That's me because I thought that's. I swear to God, I feel like people have written that to me, like, oh, I'm going to New York, and they've said NYE. So I don't
Oh,
know.
that's
That's
interesting. Okay.
no, it's me being stupid. No, they probably meant exactly New Year's Eve, but I'm just sitting here not knowing what I'm talking about. So, no,
That's
it's
funny.
okay. It's all good. So what are you up to right now? I saw you have a YouTube channel, right?
Yes. Well,
Tell me
I just
about it.
started it.
Okay.
Um, I just recently read a book called You're a Badass,
Okay.
and within that book,
Yeah.
the author, her name is Jen Sincero. She talks a lot about when you automatically have an aversion to an idea.
Yeah.
It it's almost like there's a something there that you need to pursue and figure out like
Huh.
what is it trying to tell you, or like why are you so automatically uh disenchanted with this idea. So
Sure.
every time I've heard people talk about manifestation
Mhm.
and meditation and doing daily affirmations,
Mhm.
I had an automatic assumption that there's no way that you can just tell yourself the same thing every day and
Yeah.
automatically what you want just like falls into your lap.
It just like appears. Yeah. It's right. But that's what I mean, I have the same thought you had, that it's like people do all these affirmations and everything. And
Hmm.
for me, I never do them because it's the same thought. It's like, well, what does that actually do? Like I
Yeah.
mean, I get the idea of maybe like hyping yourself up and like getting yourself ready or something, but I don't
Hmm.
but you're right. Like how does it actually manifest? How does it become reality? So, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing on my YouTube channel is fully committing. Like I
I love
have
that.
I have no preconceived notions of how things will turn out. I set
I
goals for
love that.
myself and
Yeah.
I researched what you're supposed to do in the manifestation process and meditation, affirmations, according to people that are experts.
Okay.
And I'm recording my videos each day of my progress and explaining to people, what I'm doing and keeping myself accountable for my goals and my actions.
Sure.
And then going to check back in at the end of the year to see if I achieve the goals that I set forward through the process. So it's more like an experiment, but
Okay. But
it won't hurt to do some
yeah.
research and figure it out.
But people would like to hear about that because that's like like it's like a resolution, but you're breaking down the steps. Like you're taking real concrete steps toward like an actual physical goal, as opposed to just visualizing or whatever.
Right.
So,
That's what I was thinking. And the more research that I've done, a lot of this is my 2 cents in
yeah,
the
please.
beginning. I've only been doing this for a week.
Mhm.
I think that our mindset has a lot to do with our daily actions, and our daily actions are what will accumulate over time to achieving the goals that we want.
I like that. Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
So if you're already in
Yeah.
the mindset of telling yourself what you're going to do, what your goals are, for me, it might be making a certain dollar amount with my artwork this coming year,
Yeah.
meeting some prominent artist, networking,
Yeah.
that I wouldn't normally meet like on an everyday basis. But each time I tell myself I'm going to achieve these things and I'm giving myself 6 months to do it, or I'm giving myself a year to do it,
Mm.
it's reframing my mindset every single day to where my daily actions will support what I'm telling myself that I'm going to do.
So you're saying it kind of comes down to, I mean, this is kind of how I'm interpreting it. It's more like making smaller habit adjustments, right, to your daily routine that is going to reflect how you approach this goal that you've set before yourself. Or at least that's what it sounds like. Like it seems more doable as opposed to what we said, where you kind of just picture the goal and then you kind of go about it willy-nilly, like you don't really know. You're just thinking about it, and you're just sort of going forward toward that goal, but rather yours is
Hmm.
tackling a more personal aspect. Like it's the it's the heart of it. It's the daily stuff, as opposed to just thinking
Yeah.
way too far ahead.
Yeah, that's what I think the whole process really does
Hmm.
anyway, is that it one helps you clarify what your goals even are because your goals have to be very specific. Same thing with
True.
your affirmations that you tell yourself, those all have to be super specific.
Okay.
And I think, you know, for what it counts,
No,
not
tell
being
me.
an expert 1 week in here,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think that's really how it works
But see, I wouldn't
personally.
that's teaching me something because I would be I wouldn't be thinking like the way you are. I would be doing what everybody else is doing if I approached affirmations, just how everybody's told me to do it. So it's different. Your method is different. I kind of like that. That's really cool. But how does fitness relate into that? Are you kind of taking, workouts and health into that as well to into your daily routines? I guess. I mean, obviously, I'm sure that's part of it.
Yeah, for me, I've done much better
Hmm.
in my relationship with food.
Yeah.
That's probably been my biggest challenge the past years or so.
Tell me about that because that's a big belief I have is developing a better relationship with food. And people just go into diets and these hardcore approaches to food that aren't just smaller steps to, again, like what you said, develop a better relationship. So
Yeah.
yeah, so tell me about that. Like, what did you do to
So
change that?
I I've always been very active.
Yeah,
So the physical activity part has never been a challenge for me to actually be motivated to go be active, do something. I know that it's beneficial for me and it makes me feel good.
I always see your stories and you're always running. Like it blows my mind. You're always like you're doing the most inspirational running stuff. It was like, okay, obviously she's fine in the
Oh,
fitness area. Like yeah.
thanks.
No problem. No, I notice it and I'm like, I love your podcast, like your Monday Run Day, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
my
Monday Run
podcast
Day.
reviews.
They're great. They're really cool. Like that's a
Thanks.
clever thing, and it gives it. I guess it adds to like a reason to do that run, because you have to give that podcast review. So that's kind of cool. So
Yes,
continue. I'm
it does
sorry.
motivate me.
Yeah.
No, you're fine. So the physical activity part has always been pretty consistent for me. What has always been up and down
Hmm.
and is my relationship with food.
Sure.
I realized, I think maybe 2 or 3 years ago, that I'm an emotional eater.
Okay. Yeah, and everybody's got their thing. Everybody's got the thing they turn to and stress or emotion or that kind of thing. So, yeah.
Yeah, if you look back at pictures of me in college,
Hmm.
like throughout the different years in college, and then after I graduated, I look like sometimes completely different people because
Hmm.
I gained a significant amount of weight in a short time, or I lost an extremely significant amount of weight in a short time.
Sure.
My goal now going forward is helping fix my relationship with food
Okay.
in order to maintain my healthy weight instead of forcing myself uh, to continually get thinner.
Sure. And that's kind of the I mean you're right. I think everybody finds themselves in that mode of forcing themselves into a certain
Hmm.
direction. So so I feel like maintenance might be the secret solution to what everybody's struggling with in fitness, as opposed to
Yeah.
just like, oh, I need to get bigger, or, for dudes like I got to gain muscle or lose
Hmm.
weight or whatever it is. I kind of like the idea of starting with a foundation of where you're at now.
Oh yeah, even like we just talked about earlier, affirmations
Yeah.
and daily habits that accumulate into something bigger over time.
Mm-hmm.
If your daily habits are balanced and healthy
Mm-hmm.
and you continually can carry that out, it's sustainable. And that's going to help carry you through a number of years without having to do, like I have, this yo yo dieting effect on my weight.
Sure.
Um, I, in the times where I've gained a lot of weight in, a significantly short amount of time,
Yeah.
I noticed that I would always go for comfort foods,
Okay.
something that was nostalgic to me, like my family was not super well off
Mm-hmm.
growing up.
Mm-hmm.
So what's nostalgic to me is almost always fried food,
Okay,
a
well, if
lot of sugar.
that's nostalgic to everybody. But yeah, I
Well,
mean, I would sit here and just eat that while I'm doing this podcast. I wouldn't even care. Yeah, I would just be like, screw my self control. I'm having fried food.
that
So,
that's basically all that my family ate growing up was like boxed frozen lasagna,
mm,
ravioli in a can, uh,
stuff that was,
anything fried.
yeah, easy to afford and that kind of thing.
Yeah, very
Yeah,
little vegetables, hardly ever baked
mm,
meat, like almost always fried. So,
sure.
um, after my mom died 7 years ago, that was the first time that I really fell
It got
deep
to you.
into that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and then I probably 6 months after that,
Mm-hmm.
when I looked at myself one day, I realized, okay, you think that your food is making you happy, but your food, nothing can fix your emotional state.
Mm-hmm. That's a
And
that's amazing though that it's you had the discernment to sit there and like really take a look at yourself and be real with yourself because I mean that's not something it's tough to do because of the mental stuff. You got to push yourself past some kind of mental barrier. So 6 months seems like a short time. That's pretty incredible.
yeah, it was really hard
Mm-hmm.
because
I'm
part
sure.
of me was saying, well, Morgan, don't you need to love yourself and
Mm,
give yourself a little bit of slack
sure.
and not think that you need to be perfect? But then the other half of me realized what I was doing. I turned to food in times that I got really emotional, and my habits were not serving my body in a healthy way.
Sure. So
So,
So it
yeah,
went to that
after,
habit change thing, doing the small habits, I guess.
well, that was my first big spike up.
Mm-hmm.
Right after that was when I had my first big spike down.
Okay, that's good. And it's kind of so from that spike down. What was your? I'll ask you this: what was your daily habit change? Like, what did you have to? So I'm guessing you told me about the fried foods. I'm guessing it started there, or did you do something a little simpler?
The way that I guess changed my daily routine
Mm-hmm.
in that time was, in hindsight, very unhealthy. I went extreme the other way.
Interesting. Okay. So, well, I mean, but that's so you went when you say extreme, you really cut down like more than you
Mhm.
should have, like just kind of got rid of a majority of your food that you were consuming.
Yeah,
Okay.
because that following year, that was when I went to the Miss Louisiana pageant the second time.
Okay.
So of course I wanted to be bikini ready. I wanted to be, I don't know why I set for myself this goal, but I wanted to be the thinnest version of myself that I possibly could.
Yeah, yeah, and that's I mean that seems that's doable and I mean that's tough with all the pageant stresses though. That's I can't put myself in that mindset because there's a lot
Yeah.
going on there. Yeah.
When when I was preparing for Miss Louisiana,
Mm-hmm.
after I had gained all of that weight, I knew that I needed to first lose that weight and then I wanted to lose even more. So
Mm-hmm.
my my daily habits at that time were, I cut out everything except for like baked chicken,
Okay.
broccoli,
Okay, check. Yeah.
eggs, and like Quest protein bars. That is all that I ate for probably a year and a half.
Wow. But you know what's funny? It's like in the back of my mind, I'm like, that is super healthy. It definitely it's very little food, but I mean, that's quite a disciplined, act of dieting. That's like you're taking obviously foods with a lot of protein, a lot of good stuff in them, but
Mhm.
it's definitely for what you were striving for with the pageant and stuff like that. It's extreme, but I don't know. People don't pick the right foods like you did. So it's funny. It's like you picked really good sources of protein, and you did the broccoli and
Mhm.
everything, and everybody always skips out on the vegetables. So yeah, which are
Yeah.
amazing. So, and you won Miss Congeniality, didn't you? You were was that the second time around or
I've competed twice.
okay.
That second year that I went, I did win Miss Congeniality, but I
Okay.
also won that the first time that I competed.
Oh, so so so
I'm a
they
double
were
timer, Miss
no,
Congeniality.
that's cool. That's good. That means like but that means you kind of have like a name in the pageant world. You're remembered. You're Morgan Tanner. Like they know who you are.
Thanks.
So
Yeah.
I don't know what the like what is it what is the miscongeniality anyway? I guess it has something to do with the movie is where my limited knowledge goes to. So, but
Um,
explain it to me. What is that?
yeah, Miss Congeniality is a award that's voted on by all the contestants. So each person that's a contestant in the pageant gets a vote
Mhm.
toward the Miss Congeniality. Um, the whole idea of it is to vote on the contestant that you think is in general the most kind to everybody, has a good spirit, has a good
Well,
attitude,
yeah, that's
is
certainly you.
helpful to people. Like
Yeah.
that's the whole idea.
Yeah, no, that's well, that fits. That's perfect.
Thank you.
There you go. No problem. No, that's good. I guess I assumed that because it's like so they vote for the person they kind of like the most in among the pageant contestants. That makes sense.
Yeah,
That's
and
pretty cool.
obviously I don't want to sound like I'm tooting my own horn,
No,
but
no,
it's
no, go
almost kind of
for it.
like
Toot
you're voting for
it.
the most popular person
Yeah.
in the pageant,
No,
I
that
guess.
that's
So
good.
like
Yeah, yeah. No, that's fine. I mean, hey, if you got like the brightest personality, you're gonna be the most popular, right?
I guess sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Was it tough to like fitness wise and schedule wise? I know that it's really hard to keep up with like all the pageant demands, because at least from what I know, when you go to the pageant, you have to spend what is it's like a week or something doing
Hmm.
different events with all the pageant girls, like taking pictures and going to different functions and stuff.
Yeah.
That's tough. Jeez.
The well the pageant itself for me was almost like a break because leading
Really?
up to it, yeah, leading up to it, I was working a full-time engineering job.
Yes, yeah. Okay. Yeah, and that's
Mhm.
that's plenty demanding. So,
Yes,
yeah.
that was very demanding
I'm
for,
sure.
the large majority of my day. And
Yeah.
then I would leave work,
Mhm.
go work out for probably an hour and a half or so with the trainer
Mhm.
each day after work, and then I would practice my talent
Okay.
for another hour. So that would be another workout since I dance.
Holy
And
shit.
then by the time that I was done, it was pretty much time to go to bed.
God, jeez. And and that's is the that so that's your break? That's what you're calling a break right there? I'd be dying.
Oh,
I'd be
no,
like
like
screw
that
this
was my
pageant.
prep for like a
Oh,
year.
okay. Oh, wow. Yeah, because
Yeah, that was my prep for a year.
that's the biggest difference I think with like the pageant world and maybe like the bodybuilding world for women. Because it's still a lot of prep and a lot of getting ready, but the freaking pageant world, you have so many different facets of like your personality. You have the talent, you have the swimsuit, the
Hmm.
physical side, and it's to me it's so all encompassing. Like you have to practice everything, absolutely
Yeah.
everything, and I can't imagine the pressures, because I guess you know what you're good at and you know what you struggle with when you're prepping.
And by the time that the pageant came, since I was working a full-time job,
Yeah.
you do have to go for a week, like you said, to do events and
Mm-hmm.
promotions. I took a week of vacation off of work to go compete for the pageant. So I was there just to have fun. And that
There
was
you
the only
go.
thing that I wanted to do every minute I was there. I
Cause
was
it
like, I
looks
just want
fun too.
vacation.
I was like, I'll put on stilettos and go with those girls. I don't care. Like they're out there taking pictures and having fun. I'll join in on it. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm with you though. I get the feeling. So,
Yeah, we
yeah,
had
that's
fun.
amazing. Oh, I bet you guys did, and it's probably a great bonding experience too. So, yeah. But what did you do as far as like is there a lot of competition with the fitness side of it, or are you guys do you feed off each other? Are you very like supportive, with your talents and everything, or is it kind of like a competitive feel behind the scenes?
Oh, behind the scenes is 100% helping each other out because
I love that.
in order to even be qualified to compete at Miss Louisiana, you have to win a local pageant first.
Sure.
So everyone who's there has already won a local pageant,
Mhm.
which means that we've been successful
Yeah.
no matter who all is in the room, right? We've all been successful at our local pageant. And we all know individually how long that we've spent preparing for that literally one day of competition.
Yeah, you put your heart and soul into
Yeah.
yeah,
And
that one day.
once you know, because you've been also putting in the work and you've been preparing for this pageant just like 35 of these other girls have,
Yeah.
once you know how much it takes, you want everybody to get on that stage, do the best that they can,
Yeah.
look the best that they can, and really show off the work that they've done for the past year.
See, that's a cool thing. That environment is infectious. Like that's amazing because it's kind of you'd hope it would be like that. Like you really do. It's
Hmm.
for all the money and the time you're putting into it. You'd hope that you can come out with some friends and some closer relationships and everything. So that's pretty
Yeah, the
amazing.
environment is awesome. I will say though, like you were mentioning earlier that I
Hmm.
chose really healthy foods, but the way
You
that
did.
I applied my eating on a day-to-day basis was absurdly ridiculous.
It was real. So it was kind of. So when you say that, it's you mean like just the fact that you were sticking religiously to those particular foods, like you weren't deviating ever. That's what
No,
you
I
mean?
think I think it's almost that I went so strict
Okay.
that I woke up,
Uh huh.
I had a Quest protein bar. I went
Sure.
to work
Okay.
and I had a Quest protein bar for lunch.
Yeah.
I went and I did like 2.5 hours worth of workouts and then went home and ate one chicken breast with broccoli every day for like a year and a half.
Oh my God. Wow.
So
Wow.
yes, I got extremely, extremely skinny, which at the time I was like, wow, I look great. I'm
Yeah.
so proud of myself. And I was super disciplined and I'm still proud that I could do that for a year and a
Yeah.
half.
No, that really is like regardless of the foods you were eating or the timing of it, like the fact that you stuck to it and you just never deviated. If people
Mm,
applied that same logic to any diet, I mean that same motivation and discipline, God,
mm.
they would see their body change in a split second. So
Oh yeah.
I love that. That's amazing. But be honest with me though. Do you really like Quest bars? Like, are you tired of them now? Do you still eat them? Because I hate Quest bars. Can't st- I can't stand. I mean, they changed their formula, but back in the day, they were like chalky, like flaky, weird bricks of chalk. So I don't know. What do you think about them?
I still like them. I think that they taste pretty good. I wouldn't say that I eat them a lot. Now I practice intuitive eating, so I
Okay.
only eat when I'm hungry, which
Oh, I
is
want to ask you about that.
sometimes
That
odd times.
Okay, but that's a huge thing. Intuitive eating because people. That's the question I hear the most, and maybe you get this sometimes. People don't like it when they feel hungry. They think that's bad. So because it's almost like to them, it's like a bad signal. Like if they're
Mm,
hungry, that it's not good. Like they should avoid eating in order to lose weight. So but
hmm.
but you've seen. So tell me about the intuitive eating. Like, why does that work better for you?
Well, that for me, it's more of a mindset change. So
Okay.
with my relationship to food, because I went one extreme
Yeah.
where I overindulged and I only ate things that satisfied my mouth,
Hmm.
but weren't nutritionally very good for me.
Yeah.
Then I went the other extreme where I severely limited exactly only these foods I can eat. And I don't even want to calculate how many calories I was eating versus burning per day. It was just like ridiculous. I was hungry probably 80% of my day at that time.
Sure.
And I was so proud of that. Uh, so that was the extreme the other way. Um, Now I've leveled out
Hmm.
on realizing that I can't go to food for any emotional fulfillment, but at the same time, I don't need to punish myself for eating. It's not a bad thing.
That's good. That's the yeah. People need to hear that. Like
Yeah,
really, that's the moral of the story. That's the truth to all of it is that you don't need to punish yourself. It's not it puts you in that unhealthy mindset and then you get all this stress that comes with it, and
hmm
you're ultimately doing your body no good because it's the stress is holding on to that fat you're trying to get rid of, if you're trying
right.
to like really try to lose weight.
Yeah, I came across, I guess, the idea of intuitive eating earlier this year when I'm all about self-improvement. So I'm always doing some kind of like new self-improvement book or going through a program of self-reflection and what actions am I going to take on this.
Sure. And I guarantee
Earlier
you
this,
know I guarantee you know more than the average personal trainer. I'm just telling you right now. Like all the stuff you're talking, the intuitive eating, that's beyond what some like mid-20s dude personal trainer would say. And they
oh,
just get on you for eating pizza. Be like, "How dare you? You can't eat pizza. That's unhealthy."
okay,
So
yeah.
that's
Well, that's interesting. Maybe I need to capitalize on that.
no,
I haven't
no,
said
no,
this
no.
topic.
You're good. No, keep doing what you're doing. No, there's. I always like. It is funny though, as you're like, whenever you become a personal trainer and you start down that path, I feel like that's the
Mhm.
first step you take. Is like you go into it and you eliminate all these bad foods, and they tell you what they eat, and you're like, oh, you shouldn't do that. That's
Yeah,
unhealthy, and it's. But your idea of intuitive eating takes the stress out of that, and it makes things more realistic as opposed to being so strict with it and cutting out all these quote unquote bad foods.
yeah. Because when I think it was right when quarantine came in the first round,
Hmm.
I was working from home. So knowing my personal history with food,
Hmm.
and I would be at home all day. The pantry's there, the fridge is there. I knew that I needed to be proactive in setting myself, I guess, some boundaries of like, okay, how are we going to interact with the food in this house
Okay.
for the couple of months that I'm here, right? And not go back into my bad habits.
Ooh. Yeah.
I set daily goals for myself, again with the daily habits that give you longer term accumulated
Sure.
improvement.
Sure.
I told myself I'm only going to eat when I'm hungry, but each time that I get hungry, I need to wait 10 minutes to eat.
Oh, that's brilliant. That really is. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So that idea started me with the whole intuitive eating pattern. So I only eat when I'm hungry,
Okay.
but waiting a little bit to eat made me think a little bit
Wow.
more about what do I actually want to eat instead of being impulsive and getting something quick and easy or something that doesn't have any nutritional value.
I have that is a piece of advice I have never heard from anybody ever. That's great. That's great because
Oh, cool.
but no, seriously, like that's such a reasonable thing to do, but it doesn't sound difficult. Like when you hear that, you don't want to like shy away from that because it sounds doable. It's like, okay,
hmm
like that's something I can try to do, especially for somebody who doesn't know where to begin, doesn't know how to start into a healthy diet
hmm
regimen. They could do that. They could just simply take a look at what they have, like you said, in the pantry, in the fridge, and then approach it with that mindset of waiting just a little bit and giving themselves just a tiny window of time to figure it out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Damn, that's cool. That's amazing.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah,
Thank
no,
you.
really and truly. No, it's good because it's real world stuff, because you can't,
Yeah.
like what you said. I mean, shit, once the quarantine hit, obviously everybody had to reinvent their lifestyle, and they had to redefine their relationship with food. They probably had to all their fitness their fitness had to change. They had to do like at home workouts and everything. So
Mhm.
it's rather like intuitive dieting is more like a non-dieting plan almost. Like you're not really dieting, but
Mhm.
you're creating sustainable habits for yourself, you know? So,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
Geez, that's good. That's really
It's
good.
the small things that you do every day
Uh-huh.
that if you can improve on that, just like 1% each day,
That's
improve on
great.
your daily actions, that's going to have a 10 times better return in your life than one event, 1 year on 1 day that
Yeah.
you're preparing.
Yeah. Oh my
So
gosh.
yeah, that's my mindset on it.
Holy cow. And then so what are your goals like right now with fitness? So you're still in kind of the maintenance, the just kind of sticking with maintaining where you're at right now, or are you trying to build muscle, or what's the plan?
for, for me, it's definitely maintenance, and it's
Good.
more related to uh, my sustaining my better relationship with food
Sure.
and keeping that intact. That's my priority for sure. And uh, like we mentioned earlier, me
Mhm.
realizing that food is not going to fix any of my problems. Food is not going to make me feel any better other than for 5 minutes. And I can't punish myself for eating either. So no food is off limits to me
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
I only eat when I'm hungry. And that has worked so well for me over the past 5 or 6 months for me to really level out and settle at a healthy and happy weight. And I also
Sure.
feel great.
That's good. But you know, being in that mindset too of the maintenance mindset, you're probably for somebody who has not tried it and starts to apply the methods you're talking about, they probably would lose weight and start building an actually better looking body or physique, you know? Like really and truly. I think they would that it would be an unconscious thing that happens. Like they tell themselves it's maintenance, but in
Hmm.
reality, since they're putting themselves in a very stress-free way of thinking, their body's going to respond, like you said, more energy, happier, and more a better image, self-image. You know, more self-worth.
Oh yeah, I think
So,
that a lot of people would realize after if they wanted to try this, right?
hmm,
Um, a lot of people would realize what their potential unhealthy assumptions were
yeah,
previously,
yeah,
and they would
exactly.
see a big change in those areas. Yeah.
Yeah, and just taking a candid look at what they've been doing up to that point and then making those logical changes and those logical steps to improvement is what exactly that's what's going to be what changes them in the long run, you know, visual, real changes. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's amazing. And then I'm switching subjects. Tell me about your art. Like are you currently in doing any kind of art galleries or anything? Because I knew a while back you did get your art into a gallery, right?
Yeah, last year I had my first solo exhibition.
That's so cool. That's amazing. That's
Thanks.
awesome. Yeah.
Oh yeah, like doing a solo show as an artist is a huge freaking
It's a
deal.
big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like I you know, you had pictures on Facebook or you had a story or something, and I was amazed by just the scale of it. Like I was just like, man, it's just one big ass room. It's got all their paintings up. Like my God, check it out. So I could do that maybe with like my little scribbles or you know draw like a stick figure and then I could do that and call it like modern art and be like, look, it's the fragility of human nature or something. I don't know.
We should totally do a collaboration.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. Yeah. Well, your contribution would be far greater than mine. I would be like, I don't know. I put on like a beret and like pencil on a mustache and act all sophisticated and just be like, look, it's our egos. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, hey, you got the verbiage all down pat.
Yeah,
You're
there you
good.
go. Yeah, see, I know how to talk like an artist. I can fake it.
I I did that show last year,
Yeah.
and what I've okay, this is a super hot take.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a hot take in the art community. Uh, I am not actively pursuing showing my work in galleries or museums,
Okay.
mainly
Interesting.
because overall, when I really think about why I create art
Mm-hmm.
and the meaning that it can bring to people.
Nice. Yeah, and that's the. I mean, you're taking it seriously. You're looking at the real meaning behind it as opposed to
Right.
just creating something for the sake of creating art.
Hmm.
It's got meaning to you, and you do it for other people as well. So I like the fact that you make something that the person you're creating the art for can feel as well, or derive some meaning out of.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that's what I'm truly passionate about.
yeah. That's awesome. That's
I
amazing. Yeah.
I don't give a shit if
Hmm.
a gallery cares
Hmm.
that about my artwork at all. I don't care what the art professional community thinks of my art. If they think that it's great, if they think that it's not,
Because they're gonna,
that's up
but
to
they're gonna be
them.
snobby though. They're probably gonna like nitpick, and they're gonna be like, "Well, it could have done this better or whatever." So
Well,
I feel like they would be very hypercritical.
I make meaningful art for the people who need it,
Hmm.
and the people who need it are not the art community.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't need to
true,
make art to please some curator so that they can charge me a 50% commission fee when I sell my piece there.
sure,
Um, I'm making art for individual people who have some sort of trauma that they've experienced or grief that they're going through, where they need a positive reminder that they can look at on their wall every day to tell themselves, I've made it through all of these things in my life and I have brighter days ahead. That's what I make art for. I make art for an individual person. I don't make art for a gallery or to please some,
yeah.
you know, person in the art community.
And you're somebody who can relate to that, like
Hmm.
experiencing a trauma and needing something to lift you up or just lift your spirits in some way and remind you
Yeah.
of how far you've come. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's why people see more in your art than probably, the other artists who are trying to get into the galleries and trying to please like the critics and, all the people who would criticize their art.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, I
it's
mean, when
different.
you really think about it, that's a losing game because
Yeah.
you're not going to be able to make art to please everybody. And
Mhm.
it, the, the things that they judge on it, of course it's art, so it's all subjective. You'll never really know what's gonna stick, what's not.
Mhm.
If you're not making art for yourself or for a specific other person who it means something to them, then it's almost like a shot in the dark,
Yeah.
and you just won't know.
Yeah. But you're thinking about the person. You're actually trying to like have the art make sense to each individual person you do it for. It's not
Right.
like you said, it's not a shot in the dark. It's not just this is what I want it to mean. Like
Hmm.
here, figure it out. I don't know. You yeah, there's thought. There's a real deliberate presentation as opposed to just
Yeah.
going about it without
if
any direction. So,
if my painting means something to one person,
mhm.
then I've been successful.
Yeah, and even me, like I can see the value in that because that's not in any way, that's not arrogant. That's not you are thinking about the person because you watch like documentaries about artists and everything, like famous artists, and they
Hmm.
always come across as like very very you know high society, and they think the world of certain artists, and they critique and do all this stuff, but it's you've kind of implemented like a human side to it. So yeah,
Thanks.
I know. I'm using big words to sound smart, so I feel pretty good about myself
Well,
right now.
thank you. Thank you.
No problem. No, that's amazing. That's amazing. So are you doing anything else? Because it seems like you're not busy enough, Morgan. You have like like your art company, your YouTube channel. Like, is there any pies your hand is not in right now, or is there anything else you want to do to like tack on?
That is a great question, and you know, my daily YouTube channel, I just kicked that up
Mm-hmm.
a couple weeks ago. I've been taking, I don't know how many online courses about uh, using Facebook and Instagram for marketing and with
Yeah.
my art. Spending a lot of time in the studio making paintings for people that I've really enjoyed. Obviously, I'm still doing full-time engineering,
Okay.
and um,
Yeah, because I knew that was in the background, like the full time engineering gig on top of the other two things. So and I like that too with your YouTube videos. You do actual research. You know, people have to take you seriously. You know, the
mhm.
information you're giving them is not just you're not just pulling it out of thin air. It's stuff you are literally presenting to them from notable sources. You know,
Right.
so I think that's
And
cool.
what's funny is that, a lot of people want to be original. They're like, "Oh,
Hmm.
I want to have original content. I want to have original thought of it."
Hmm.
Uh, in real life, most ideas have already been thought about,
Sure.
and most content has already been created at some capacity.
Yep.
You just have to take what's familiar and put a different spin on it. That's
Beautiful.
what people care about. You don't
Yeah.
have to change the world with your YouTube video or like come up with some brand new idea that nobody's ever thought about. It just needs to mean something to one person to matter. And
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
all I have to do is I have to research, okay, how do you do this manifestation thing? Let me give that a try. And if somebody thinks it's interesting and it helped them achieve their goals because they watched it and they're like, oh, sure, I'll do this experiment with Morgan, then that's all I care about.
Yeah. Yeah, you have personally affected somebody's life in a positive way, and that's all that
Hmm.
matters. Yeah. Yeah, and you're right. I love your definition of not needing to feel like you have to reinvent something. Like you literally have to create something brand new. It's just putting another flavor on something that already
Hmm.
exists. It's adding,
Oh, yeah.
you painting it in a different color or whatever you want to say about that. But you're right. It's take everything's been done before. All you have to do is just take that and define it for yourself and then put that out there.
Yeah.
And I like the small habit thing is huge is hugely forgotten in fitness because we have Instagram fads, we have
Hmm.
Instagram models and people who are just kind of throwing their workout plans or whatever out there, and nobody's thinking about your ideals, about those small changes, and
Hmm.
just starting with the simple approaches to changing your mental attitude toward fitness,
Right.
so that's pretty cool. That's amazing. I don't know what I just went on a tangent right there. I kind of forgot what I said just now. I just sort of like went into this weird headspace and I just kind of started talking. But that's amazing.
No,
Is it yeah. So, there you go.
thanks.
Is there anything else that you're trying to do with your YouTube channel? Are you sticking with this for like the long game? You're going to see how this plays out? The
Oh,
YouTube?
I'm definitely, yeah, I'm gonna see how that plays out for this year for sure.
Awesome.
My small little daily manifestation videos where I talk about uh, either a goal that I've set or going through my affirmations. The other day, I did some research on how do you write affirmations and what is the proper
Yeah.
verbiage to use, what tense do you use, all that kind of stuff. And I shared what mine are. Um, and I'm going to hold myself accountable to the things that I said I was going to do every day
Sure.
and check in by the end of the year and see where I landed on my goals.
You're in the trenches with people as you do this YouTube channel. You're kind of you're
Yeah.
doing it with them. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for
Oh my
sure.
God. That's awesome. People will watch that just simply because it's real. It's real shit. It's like
Oh my gosh.
it's actual stuff.
Okay, so it's funny you say that
Hmm.
because on my first video, I told everybody, all right, y'all, let's be real. These are me short.
That's
And
good. That's good. There
I'm
you
not
go.
gonna like I'm not gonna edit it.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be fancy. I'm gonna post it. And if you want to watch it, that's awesome. If not, well, that's okay.
But that's so
And
good though. That's good.
like
That's like exactly right.
I'm not doing a second take. That's it. If I slur my words or I trip over my words, well, you're gonna get to see it. I'm not gonna cut that out because that
Sure.
takes so long. And I just post it and I'm like, that's we're fine. The other day I came in here and I seriously recorded the whole thing.
Hmm.
I got my phone and I was gonna upload it, and then I was like, oh, my dumb ass turned the camera the wrong way.
It
I was
happens. It
I was
happens.
literally sitting down in the chair
Yeah.
talking, and you can hear my audio, but the visual was in my bedroom with my animals playing on my bed,
Yeah.
fighting with each other. Like, you
Yeah, but it's that but it's kind of funny though. That's why there you go. You could turn it into a podcast. Just like take the
can go
audio
watch
and
that
like
one. I posted that the other day.
good.
I
Oh,
still posted
awesome.
it.
There you go.
Who
I'll check it
cares?
out. Yeah, for sure. You're like screw it. This is my channel. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
but that people relate to that. You know, you're throwing spaghetti against a wall and seeing if it sticks, and people realize that they don't have to. I think some people get really intimidated, especially with starting like a YouTube channel. They feel like they have to get fancy equipment. They feel like they
Hmm.
have to get special editing software or whatever, and and
Hmm.
and then they just end up never starting because they
Yeah.
think they have to do all this backdoor work, and they don't do like what you did, where you just reel with people, and you know that because you were real with people, now you have a YouTube channel, and now you have something you can work on, you know.
Yeah.
So
And there
yeah,
might come a day where I say, yeah, I wanna learn about this video editing thing. How do I do that?
yeah,
But I've already established the habit of filming a video and
it's
posting
good.
it every day. So
Yeah,
what is 30 extra minutes going to be on top of a habit I've already created? It's not that much.
exactly.
But if I approach it and I think, okay, well, I need to do this fancy little video intro that's stitched in front of my video, and then I need to edit out all the dumb things that I said, and then I need to put on closed
It's a pain in
captions, and
the
I need
ass.
to
Don't
put in
do it.
little cute little icons.
Yeah.
Oh, I know you do a great job on your videos. I
Thank you, but it's no, it is so hard. Editing is an absolute. It's awful. It is awful. It takes up hours of your time. It eats up
Mhm.
everything, and so I really do like understand why you do your videos the way you do, and I think you should stick with that. I really don't think you should make them fancy. I think the way you got them now is fine. Like
Thanks.
it'll yeah, because editing's terrible, and then you kind of you unnecessarily add in all these other little things, and that's what I started doing. There's like memes. Let me put a meme
Mm.
here. This will make people laugh. Meme. And it was, and I
I
was.
love a good meme.
Thank you. That's good. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm glad somebody gets it. But yeah, I was throwing
Yeah.
in like memes and everything, and at the end of the day, I was like, man, everybody kind of does that. I think people may have they like the memes, but now it's pushing
Mhm.
more towards being pretty raw and
Okay.
real. Like I don't know. Don't take my advice. I have no idea what I'm talking about. I think that's just pulling something out of my ass right there. So
You're just so funny.
yeah, but no, I love it. I love your YouTube channel, Morgan. It's awesome. So it's cool
Thanks.
stuff. Yeah. Yeah. And I'll share I'm gonna post